the first thing someone says is, I can't do yoga, I'm not flexible. And I say, me either. It's not about flexibility.
Right?
It's not about that.
Okay.
It's about becoming curious. One of my favorite, when people ask me, what do I need to bring? I always say curiosity.
Oh, wow. Okay.
You're going to learn things about your body that you never knew about.
Right.
And you're going to learn how your thoughts and your angst are contributing to the stress and the pain that you're feeling.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to our next episode of UnProcessed Sugar. I'm Dr. David Sugar, your host, and thank you so much for joining us. If you would take a moment, please hit that subscribe button. It helps us grow our channel and reach a larger audience. I've mentioned many times throughout different episodes that, we're not just talking about our body and things that go on with our body. Really, it's about the mind, body, and soul. And today we have a topic that I think covers all three of those in spades. We're honored to have a guest today, the preeminent yoga teacher here in Sarasota, Florida, Miss Lynn Burgess. She's taken time out of her schedule to join us. Lynn, thank you very much. I appreciate you joining us today.
I am honored to be here. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Everyone I know who knows you just speaks so highly of you.
And same of you.
I appreciate that. It sounds like you've touched a lot of lives here in Sarasota, making people healthier little by little, right? So again, we're going to talk about yoga, and I don't know a whole lot about yoga. I've learned some now, but I think a lot of you probably, like myself, think it's just about your body and doing a bunch of stretches, which I think is probably a misunderstood aspect of yoga. Well, if you could kind of summarize, what is yoga?
I would say a great definition of yoga is that it is a system of self-care that combines movement, balance, breath awareness, and mindfulness.
Awesome. So again, mind, body, and soul, really, that just kind of touched on all of those. So it's not just about the body. You kind of mentioned mindfulness and breath work, and there's things I've been learning lately with regards to breath work in particular. It really has a lot to do with our nervous system. And in today's day, we're so jacked up, we're overstimulated, we exercise our bodies, but we don't exercise our mind, and we don't take the time to address our nervous system. So I think yoga addresses a lot of that, doesn't it?
Absolutely, because yoga requires presence. Presence into how the foot is moving, how the arm is coordinating with the foot moving. So you can't really go on autopilot.
That sounds great.
In many ways, yoga forces you into the moment.
Into the moment, okay. For me, that's something I kind of struggle with, is staying in the moment. I'm worrying about what's going to happen tomorrow. I'm fretting over what happened yesterday. And like you said, you're kind of forced to be in that moment and be present. And as I learn more and more about being in better shape, not just my body, but being present is such a huge, and appreciating the moment is such a huge part of things.
And cultivating, you're already touching on it, cultivating self-awareness. Am I really present in this moment? Or am I looking at you and thinking about how my mic sounds? Or what the next question's going to be? Can I be completely here?
Okay.
Feeling the sensations in my body while my eyes look at you.
Awesome. So then that kind of leads to my next question, and my next thought is that by doing these practices, can we actually reduce our stress?
100%. Because as soon as I'm nowhere but here, I'm in reality.
There you go. Right?
I'm not in the fretting mind or the ruminating mind. I'm feeling what's here.
Awesome. So breath work, you mentioned, is a big part of the practice of yoga. Why does it work? Why is it so powerful?
It's an anchor. Okay. It pulls me and you into the awareness of, oh gosh, I'm not breathing. Oh, I'm not breathing, and my shoulders are hiked up, and my jaw is tight. So as soon as I take a breath, I come out of reactivity.
Okay.
And now I'm more into responding to what's in front of me or what I'm dealing with.
Awesome. I've been practicing different types of breath work a lot lately. I struggle with sleep, a big problem for me. And a big part of what I've been doing is helping my sleep is the breath work I do, not just at the bedtime when I'm laying in bed, but sometimes throughout the day, I'll take the time and work with the breath work. And it really, it will slow your heart rate down. It does make you present. I'm not thinking about other things. HRV, heart rate variability, has been shown to actually improve with breath work as well, I think, right?
Absolutely, and a reduction in stress hormones.
Gotcha.
I have a technique where before I open the door to the yoga studio,
Right.
I say to myself, pause and take one breath.
That's awesome.
And it really does, for that 1 second, interrupt
That loop.
that loop,
Right,
that
yep.
endless loop that in so many ways we've just become habituated. And I would go so far as to say addicted
Yeah.
to the loop of the mind
Yeah, absolutely.
and going back to the same thought
right,
over and
right.
over and over again.
Yeah, perseverating. And our last episode, Dr. Holland, a psychiatrist here in town, we talked about psychedelics and mental health. And a big part of what we talked about was we get stuck in this loop. And it sounds like this is one of the most powerful ways we can kind of, at least for that moment, stop that loop.
Yes, and one of the cliches we use in yoga is that if we want to get rid of the looping in the mind,
Okay.
we have to break through the binding in the body.
Oh, wow. I like
So
that.
the body acts as a doorway. So if I can get rid of some of the tension, I break whatever mental pattern
Makes sense.
I may have installed,
Right?
along with, for example, if I'm thinking about, I've got to go from here to there, I can already feel a tightening in my solar plexus and a clenching in my jaw.
Right.
If I say, okay, let me pause, let me take a breath, now it doesn't seem as urgent.
Okay.
Now I can say, it's okay if I'm running 3 seconds late.
Right.
It's a readjustment to reality.
That's
in a
awesome.
lot of times.
Right.
At least that's how I feel when I say I'm choosing to take a breath here.
That's great. Yeah, I think it's kind of neat. I mean, we're not that far into the discussion yet. We haven't even talked about body poses or stretches yet. We've just been talking about kind of mind and nervous system
But I think
stuff.
what you're hitting on is the more important aspect of yoga.
Okay.
Back in the late 80s, early 90s, yoga became the darling of the fitness industry. And so everything became about how much faster can you do yoga? How many yoga poses can you do?
Kind of the opposite of what you really
The
should
exact
be about,
opposite
right?
of
Okay.
it. And so it's lost its essence. It's become just another way to work out.
Another thing to do.
Another thing to do.
Right, right.
And then we all slide into, I'm doing it from momentum. I'm doing it in
Right.
this really rote way.
Okay. Okay.
As opposed to, I'm pausing and I'm really feeling the sensations inside of me
Oh, wow. Okay.
that are arising when I move my foot or
Mm-hmm.
I place my hands down on the mat.
That is great.
One of my favorite things is when someone is on all fours and I say, is there more weight on the right hand or the left?
Okay.
There's this, I don't know, I've never thought about it.
Right.
Well, don't think about it.
Okay.
Feel it.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So the word I use and use a lot in yoga is interoception.
Interoception. I've never heard that. What does that mean?
Oh my gosh, it's our ability to feel the sensations that are going on internally.
Okay.
So can I feel that when I think about getting somewhere with a lot of traffic in January, there's an immediate clutching in my throat, a tightening at my occiput, and a rapid movement in my eyes.
Okay.
If I instead say, let me focus on feeling where I'm sitting. I have more weight on the right hip right now than I do on the left.
Okay.
Now I'm more present.
Present. Okay, good. We're coming back to
We're
that.
coming back to
But that's
presence.
great. That's very good. So it sounds like this might even be helpful for people who have chronic pain, for example, because of they get in their loop. They're focusing on that one spot that hurts, and this probably can come into help for them.
Yes, it is so exciting when someone says, I realized I was thinking about that thing, and I began to feel the tightness in my lower back starting.
Okay.
And if we can help people understand that the loop is contributing to the muscular tension,
Yeah, right, sure.
then they have power. They can start to say, wait, do I choose to do this or not?
Okay.
So one of my favorite stories, may I share it?
Of course, please.
Is there was a fellow that I taught privately for years, and every time his daughter came to visit, his lower back hurt. And I said, do you
Kids
think...
cause you stress? Never.
Right? Never. I said, do you think there's a relationship, or could there be a relationship between her visits and the stress you feel? And he got really angry. And he said, absolutely not.
Yeah, right.
And about 6 months later, when he was back in Michigan,
Right.
he called me and he said, I have a really weird question to ask you. Go ahead. So my daughter was here last weekend, and my lower back really hurts.
And it had been hurting for
Hadn't been
before.
hurting.
Oh my gosh.
Do you think there could be a
Yeah,
relationship?
you think?
And I said, I think you're onto something brilliant.
That's awesome.
So
That is
for
awesome.
me, it's about empowering the person in front of me.
Oh, wow. Okay. Right. You're giving them the tools, the skills with which they can then affect their own life.
Their observation skills, their interoception skills.
Okay. Interoception. I got to remember that one. That's awesome. Okay. So kind of changing a little bit of gears to something that we're talking about non-movement stuff a lot right now. What's bigger in yoga? Getting flexible or the movement part of it?
The movement, the conscious movement
Okay.
is more important. It's so unfortunate because everyone thinks you have to be flexible to
Right.
come to yoga. It doesn't matter where I go. Whenever I get
Right.
introduced as the yoga teacher, the first thing someone says is, I can't do yoga. I'm not flexible. And I say, me either. It's not about
The teacher,
flexibility.
right?
It's not about that.
Okay,
It's
okay.
about becoming curious. One of my favorite, when people ask me, what do I need to bring? I always say curiosity.
Oh, wow, okay.
You're going to learn things about your body that you never knew about.
Right.
And you're going to learn how your thoughts and your angst
Mm-hmm.
are contributing to the stress and the pain that you're feeling.
Oh, wow. That's pretty big.
It
Right?
is big.
That's really huge.
And
Right,
unfortunately, yoga right now has just been categorized as another way to work out or another way to stretch. But
Mm-hmm. Right.
hopefully, through shows like yours that
Right.
bring awareness and highlight its bigger aspects, people begin to realize, wow, this is about my wellness.
Right, right. That is awesome. I had no idea. Right? That's so cool. So whenever I think of a yoga class or I see a yoga class, it seems like it's mostly women. I mean, men. Why do men shy away from yoga, or do you find that men don't, or is that
No,
just my-
men shy away
Right,
from
right.
yoga. And I ask them all the time, what got you here? And it's usually, I want to be able to get on the floor with my grandchildren.
Okay.
I'm noticing my back hurts when I'm playing golf.
Right.
But I think that yoga's done a really poor job in marketing itself.
Okay.
So pictures of yoga classes usually have petite, small women doing incredibly advanced yoga
Mm-hmm. Right,
poses.
right.
And guys are like,
I
I
can't
can't
do
do that. Right.
Right.
And so we haven't done a good job of explaining this is really a practice for
Right.
everyone.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I'm getting out of this. Just up to this point here, it's about the mind as much, if not more, than the body.
And the nervous system.
And that's what I kind of mean by the mind. Yeah, right. That's awesome, awesome, awesome. So being flexible is not a prerequisite. I don't
No.
have to be able to do a split or sit in a W on the floor or anything like that. That's not a
No,
prerequisite.
and we
to come to
use
class.
lots of what are called props, yoga props, to make it accessible for
Okay.
people. Sometimes guys are funny. They'll say, I don't think I need that. And I'll say, yes, you do. So one of the big, I think, obstacles to yoga is people don't understand they're coming to learn. And if people walk in and they think, I've got to know how to do this, I've got to be able to
Right,
do
right.
this. And I always say, no, you don't. I have to know how to do it
Right.
so that I can
You're the
teach you.
teacher. Exactly.
Yeah, and
right?
that's, I think, the exciting thing for men
Okay.
is when they begin to say, oh, wow, I can learn this.
Right.
In the same way I've learned my profession, in the same way
Sure.
I've learned how to chip or putt,
Right.
I can learn this.
Yeah.
It's a skill.
That is awesome. So I mentioned my sleep a little bit ago, but I'm dying to know. Do you think this could help my sleep?
I think it could definitely, what I would say is I would add a restorative yoga pose.
Okay.
So a restorative yoga pose could look like you lying on the floor,
Okay.
bending your knees, putting your hands on your rib cage,
Right.
and saying, how many different parts of my rib cage can I feel my breath moving in
Okay.
right now?
Right.
And then your mind will say, what about your clients for tomorrow, or your patients for
Right.
tomorrow?
Which is pretty much what happens.
And you say, wow, I'll deal with that tomorrow. Let me come back to feeling, which is moving more, my right hand or my left hand
Okay.
on my rib cage. And it becomes, in a way, a curiosity
Right.
experiment.
Huh. That's pretty wild.
And then before you know it, there's a little snoring going on.
People fall asleep.
Fall asleep,
That's
which I think
awesome.
is great because
Right?
all of a sudden we've taken our foot off the accelerator
Mm-hmm.
and we're saying, wow, I am coming home to my body and I am reclaiming my relationship
Okay.
with my breath.
That's awesome. So if I want to use yoga practices to help my sleep, is it better to do it like within a certain time of going to sleep, or if doing it at 10 in the morning is still going to help?
If you're saying I want to use the yoga to help me sleep,
Right.
you'll want to do something gentle, restorative.
Okay.
I would say an hour to 90 minutes
Okay.
before
Okay.
you think about going to bed.
Now, you've mentioned restorative. I mean, so I'm assuming there's different categories of
Different
things.
types.
Right. So what is a restorative movement?
Restorative uses lots of props. They would look like a pillow,
Okay.
almost like this, to support the body.
Okay.
So that there is no muscular tension.
Okay. No stress.
No stress on
Nothing
the-
should ever hurt.
Nothing should ever hurt.
Okay.
And as a matter of fact, we want to take away any physical distraction.
Okay.
So that someone can simply begin to say, I feel my breath. I'm noticing the way the air conditioning is touching my skin. I hear a car passing by.
Right.
All of this is happening right now.
Now.
Yeah, and often that word is one I use a lot in class. Where are you now?
Being present.
Am I, yes,
That is
am I
awesome.
here now?
Okay. Now, I did, in kind of preparing for this, I saw that there's a distinction between chest breathing and diaphragmatic breathing, if I'm getting it right.
You're getting it right.
And the chest breathing is what we typically do in our normal day-to-day. So what's the difference? And is one better than the other? Was one the one I want to focus on?
Well, the chest breathing for me always feels stressful.
Okay.
So you see, sometimes people try to take these big abdominal breaths. And the joke we say is, last I checked, there were no lungs in your abdomen. So rib cage. Can
Okay.
I feel the movement of my rib cage?
Okay.
Can I sense the breath being pulled in
Okay.
and being expelled out of my body?
Okay.
So there's a technique that we use where we'll ask someone to imagine. Let's do it now.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely.
Imagine that on the bottoms of your feet, you
Okay.
have nostrils,
Okay.
the way an elephant has nostrils on the end of its trunk.
Right.
And if you breathe the breath up through the bottom of your right foot, all the way up to your right nostril, and imagine it now leaves from the left nostril, down the left side of your body, down the imaginary nostril on your left foot, and then you draw it back up the left side. It makes that U-turn at your nose, and it goes down the right side, and it comes in on
I
the
feel
right.
that.
I
Wow.
see it.
Holy moly. I feel so much more. I'm sure my pulse rate came
Grounded,
down.
yeah.
Right?
Grounded.
That's awesome. Now, what's diaphragmatic breathing? Is that what I just did? Or is that even something that's part of this?
I think that when we try to direct someone,
Right?
they get hung up on, am I doing it right?
Okay.
And so I often say, can we start by distinguishing, you either have an awareness of your breath right now
Okay.
or you don't.
Okay.
My favorite part is when someone just begins to notice their breath and then they sigh.
Right.
And it's like,
Yeah, right.
wow, I'm not up here breathing. I always talk about the classic chest breather is usually a woman I see in Publix after work with two small children in the grocery basket grabbing Cocoa Puffs and saying, Mommy, can I have these? And she's trying to tell them no and take the iPad or
Right.
give them the iPad. And sometimes I just look at her and I take a deep breath
Right. Right.
and acknowledge what you're doing is really hard.
Yeah.
And many times, children especially, if I look at them and begin to take deeper breaths, they do it as well.
Oh, wow.
And they'll yawn.
Okay.
Like, can we come out of this stress response and trigger the relaxation response
Right.
through our breathing?
Okay.
So
Yeah,
yes, more
that's awesome.
diaphragmatic, but
Right.
you know where the diaphragm is.
Yeah.
But most people
Right?
don't.
'Cause I've seen some people do this, like they breathe, they almost suck their stomach in when they breathe.
That's a technique.
Right?
Yeah,
Okay. So that's a whole nother one then.
A totally
Okay,
different
okay,
technique
okay.
that would be separate and apart from a yoga class
Ah, okay.
that involves postures. Usually in yoga class, I'm saying you're in the pose, it looks great,
Right?
you've become aware of your body, but are you holding your breath? And a lot of times what'll happen is, there's
Oh my God, it was,
repetition.
right? Yeah.
There's repetition in yoga classes. And so someone is in the pose, but now their mind is saying, oh, and I think I'll stop at Trader
Right.
Joe's on the way home.
Yep.
So if you say, where's the breath?
Right.
Can you sense it? Then all of a sudden you're drawn back into it. And I see it. People's shoulders
Right.
drop. They often,
Yeah.
have that little impish smile of caught me again. Yes,
Yep.
I was trying to do both things at once. I
Right.
was really trying to multitask.
I meditate. Now, I wish I did it more, and I'm getting better at it. But it's all about my breath. The way I was taught was focus on my breath, and then your mind will suddenly wander. And I was taught that's okay. Don't be hard on it, but just come back to the breath. And so my meditation practices are really all breath focused.
That is the best.
Right?
I'm so proud of you. I am so proud of you.
I'm going longer and longer until my mind wanders, and especially when I go to sleep, I do a 4-4-8 technique that the Buddhist monks were really big on, and it actually can help our body heal, and even on a cellular level, it stimulates and changes things in our physiology. And I used to maybe take 2 or 3 breaths, and I'm thinking about tomorrow, and now I find I can go a little longer. I mean, I'm getting better, but it takes practice. Just keep thinking about it.
100%.
Yeah,
One of my
practice.
favorite lines that one of my yoga teachers says is, how human of me.
Right.
How human of my mind
Right.
to go, squirrel.
Yeah, right.
It's human
Yeah,
nature.
Right. We spent our whole day, like I said, overstimulated, go, the mom in the supermarket, and now all of a sudden you're going to think of nothing.
And there can be, for me sometimes, almost an angst. Like, what should I be doing next?
Mm-hmm. Okay,
Oh,
right,
let me get
right.
ahead of tomorrow. And so in many ways, I feel like yoga at times is almost like recovery. It's
Right.
like I'm recovering
Right.
from this belief that I'm a human doing and I'm not a human being.
That's awesome.
Which is, it's so in line with your Buddhist monks.
Yeah, a human doing and a human being are very different things. And I have been a human doing my whole life. And I'm working on becoming a human being now,
Well, I often joke you wouldn't be as successful as you are. No
Yeah,
one would
right.
if we just said, I think I'll just be all day.
Right.
I mean,
This
we're
is
in a
true, right?
society
And pay the
that says
bills.
do.
Right. Especially in our Western culture, American culture, it is do.
And so learning to take our foot off the accelerator and stop gripping the steering wheel is really hard.
Yeah, yeah.
But I think it's part of the reason we see people coming to yoga probably in their 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. My oldest yoga student was 95.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
With a tremendous sense of curiosity.
That's great.
I would say, how is your body today? And he would say,
Yeah, right.
but my mind is good.
There
Teach
you
me
go.
something.
Right, that's awesome. Yeah, right, that is absolutely awesome. I've often said that in medicine, the guy or gal, the woman who's working the most and doing the most and is the busiest is the winner. And I finally had a point a while ago. You know what? You win. I'm not going to compete anymore, but I still get caught up in it. I still have a business I'm running and practice I'm running, and but it's a practice, not perfection. It's a process, right?
100%. And sometimes I think of it as we grow up and we're pulled outside of ourselves. We go to school and I want to fit in and I want to get good grades and I want to be acknowledged and I want to go on to grad school.
Right.
But as we get a little more secure in the building of a business and taking care of our families, there is a return movement back to ourselves.
That's awesome.
Like, what is the quality of my downtime or my off time? Or what is the connection I have with my patients?
So just a little personal backstory on myself. My grandmother was from the border of India and Nepal. And she grew up in the Himalayan mountains, and I grew up in Tampa, and she was kind of like a local guru when I was growing up. And until I went away to college, I spent tons of time. She lived with us. She basically raised me. My mom was working 2 and 3 jobs, and I knew a lot about this. I didn't know what it was. It was just how she lived her life, and by her example. But then I went away to college, and then it was, okay, go. I got to do this. I got to go to med school. I got to do this, so I can get an orthopedic residency. I got to do this, so I can busy practice. And you kind of lose yourself. You really do. And it's you're coming back to it. is a great experience. Now, I know I've talked to somebody once, and they say, "Oh, I'm not doing yoga. I'm Catholic. That's a religious thing." Is yoga a religious thing?
It's not a religious thing. I always go back to, it's a system of self-care. It's the Sanskrit word. By the way, did your grandmother ever read or speak?
She did, yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah,
it's such a lost
awesome.
art.
Yeah.
Wow. The Sanskrit word yoga means to yoke, to unite.
Okay.
So I often say we use the yoking together of the mind and the body through the discipline.
Okay.
I mean, the yoga poses require discipline.
Right.
To bring us to ourselves, to cultivate self-awareness.
Right.
But no, it's not a religion, and especially in the United States,
Right.
it's really about the movement, the breath awareness, wellness,
Right. Mind, body, and soul.
mind, body, and soul.
You know, it's. I think you take care of your mind and your body, and then my soul kind of follows.
And what I notice a lot is a lot of people haven't taken care of their minds and their bodies, and their soul begins to cry out.
Yeah. Right.
And so they may be, oh, I'm coming to yoga because my lower back hurts.
Right.
But let's go back to George, who realized, wow, it's really this interpersonal relationship that doesn't feel
with yourself.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
With
right?
yourself.
That's awesome. So people don't need to be intimidated that this is some spiritual thing and that this is a religious thing. It's not at all.
Not at all. And I think if they land somewhere where that's what's going on,
They go somewhere
they go somewhere
Right.
else.
Yep.
Right. And that's the other thing is I always encourage people, you really want to find an instructor that you resonate with.
Sure.
It's just like a physician.
I was just going to say, just like a doctor.
Yeah, it's important that you have a rapport, that you feel like, wow, this person is educated. They really do care about my well-being.
That's awesome.
And then that helps
You
the
feel safe.
person.
I
Exactly.
didn't interrupt you, I'm sorry, but
No,
then
I'm
you feel
glad.
safe because you're kind of letting yourself be a little vulnerable with all this,
And
right?
people are, yes, and they feel very vulnerable about
Right,
their bodies,
right.
and they feel very vulnerable about things they can't, quote, do. I can't get on the floor. Great, let's get you a chair.
Right. Right. Yeah, there you go.
I don't wanna
With
be the only one in the
props you're
chair.
talking about, right?
Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
sit in a chair with you. How's that?
There you go. Oh, that's awesome.
So
That
we
is
have
awesome.
to break the barriers
Right.
for people to try yoga, including dispelling the idea that it is a religion.
Right. So you kind of were just mentioning something that was another question I had. So are there certain like classes or pathways people can go who are beginners, who know nothing about this, who feel they're not flexible, any of that?
A beginner's yoga class, right? A gentle yoga
Right.
class.
Okay.
A class that involves all the props, a restorative,
restorative. Okay,
yoga
good,
class.
good.
I always say to people, if you start out hard, it sets you up for defeat.
Right.
Why not start
Set
out
yourself
with
up.
something that feels so accessible,
Right.
so doable? And when people say to me, do you think I'm ready for something harder? I say the fact that you've asked me the question means you are ready.
They answered it themselves, right?
Yes.
That's awesome.
You came to your own answer.
Yep. So I'm going to yoga. I'm doing it consistently. What do I think? What can I expect to start to feel physically? And is it going to take months and years to get there?
It takes a while. I think that's the other thing is,
Right.
again, we're used to Amazon.
Quick fix.
And one of my jokes is you can't just order a yoga pose and have it delivered tomorrow.
Right,
I'm
right.
sorry. Time. It takes, well, let me back up. I would say most people will experience a change in their stiffness, in their posture, in their mobility,
Right.
I get the biggest kick out of when someone says, I've never been able to sit comfortably, get on a picnic bench comfortably. And after 3 months of yoga, I can.
Awesome.
I can now bend over and not worry about holding on to something when I go to pick up something off the floor.
It's going to help your balance. I'm
Big
assuming,
time.
right?
Balance. I always say injury prevention.
As you age.
And it makes you just more aware. So as opposed to me tripping over something, now I'm noticing, oh, there's something in the corner of the room. Because I've been paying attention not only to what's going on inside me, but what else is happening around me.
Okay, that's awesome. So I was talking to someone else about this who's an athlete, a professional athlete. He said, yeah, I don't need yoga. I'm a professional athlete. I'm in great shape. I would imagine even they could get something out of this.
100%.
Right?
And great shape for your sport is not necessarily great mobility
Right.
or flexibility
Right.
or balance. I think what's great about athletes is how do we help train the muscles and relax the muscles that they're training.
Okay.
So
Makes sense,
if I'm a cyclist, my quads are going to be incredibly
Right.
tight.
Right.
But what's going on with hamstrings?
Yeah, exactly.
And
That's a
how
good
do we
point,
stretch
right?
your quads? And what's going on with your chest if you're bent over the bike all the
Right.
time? How do we open up your pecs?
There you go. And as we've been talking about this, I'm thinking, okay, the athlete, I get where they're coming from, but they're only thinking about the physical aspect of things. The whole, everything else, the being centered, being present, stress relief, they will get a lot of that.
Concentration.
Concentration, right?
That's
There
what
you
they
go,
say.
right?
It's so great for golfers
Oh, wow.
because
okay.
they can really begin to say, wow, I'm standing at the tee. Let me feel my breath.
Mm-hmm.
Let me really be clear about where my feet are. Now, I'm getting ready to putt. Let me just pause, take a breath, concentrate on the ball going into
Mm-hmm.
the hole. But there's some amazing athletes. Tom Brady,
Mm-hmm.
LeBron James, using yoga for injury prevention,
Oh,
for
that's awesome.
balance, for mobility and flexibility.
I know it's going to sound silly. You're talking about the golf and the ball. Just reminded me of a scene from Caddyshack. Be the ball.
Be the
Danny.
ball.
Be the ball, Danny. Be the ball.
Or Bagger Vance.
Yeah.
Right? Remember being told, just take a breath.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
be
right.
here.
Right? That's awesome.
But you're making a great point. Even an athlete, a pro athlete especially, gets caught up in everything that we're talking about.
Right.
The body's
Big
the business.
time. Yeah.
The sport's their business.
Right.
Then what happens when the sport is over?
Yeah, there's
Is
that
there
too,
something
right?
else?
Gotcha. That's awesome. So we were talking about beginners a moment ago. What would be like some of the biggest mistakes you see people make when they start out in yoga?
Thinking that they've got to be able to do everything that's being done.
Okay.
I always say, just come in and be curious about what you can't do. Let's look at it from a
That's a long
completely
list.
different right.
It's a
And
long
then
list.
in a way, so then
Right.
when you can do something, it's
Right.
like, wow, look
Okay,
at me.
okay. I am worthy.
Yeah, totally worthy of my own accolades.
Awesome.
But most people, they have a mindset that I've got to be able to do this,
Right.
and not really realizing you're there to learn. You're there to explore. You're there to gain more knowledge.
It's not about being perfect. at
There
all.
is no perfection. I always joke that people will say to me, but your yoga poses are so beautiful looking.
Right.
They change constantly
Right, yeah.
based on my body, my understanding,
Yeah.
how I
You
feel that
evolved,
day.
Right. Yeah. How you feel that day is a good one, right? Because you don't feel the
Yeah.
same every day.
You don't feel the same. You're
didn't
tired.
sleep
You
right.
didn't
You're tired. You're
sleep.
stressed or whatever it might
You're
be. Right.
distracted no matter how present you try
All
to
right.
be.
Okay, so let's say someone out there watching us and listening to us says, "Okay, I want to start this tomorrow." What do they do? What do they?
They say, I'm going to be reasonable. I'm going
Okay.
to start small.
I like that,
I'm going to
right?
commit to consistency. I always say, give it 90 days,
Okay.
like anything. Try yoga for 90 days. Find an instructor that's experienced, well-trained. Go to a place where there are lots of props for
Okay.
support.
Okay.
Ask questions.
All right,
People
good.
will often come in, and the first thing they say to me is what they can't do.
Right.
And I always smile and I'll say, great.
Yeah.
Great. Let's try to stop thinking that we have to be a certain way
Right.
to try something
There
new.
you go. You hit on something I say all the time. Just start with one small thing.
One small thing.
You talk about food a lot in our diet and what we eat and our nutrition. You don't have to go redo your whole kitchen. Just one small thing. Get one skillet that's not toxic, or just start eating some more vegetables. Just one thing.
More
It doesn't
water.
Right? You don't have to do it all at once. Just start with one thing and then let it build from there. So
Absolutely, because what is wanted from within will build it.
Right.
We don't have to impose stuff on ourselves. The intelligence, the inner intelligence of our bodies
Right.
will tell us what to do next
that is awesome.
if we listen.
Yeah, if we listen. Slow down, be present,
Be present.
and listen.
Yeah.
Well, Lynn, this has all been amazing stuff.
I have enjoyed every
this is
second.
Awesome. So as we're talking, I'm thinking, okay, I got to talk to her about maybe coming to the office like certain days of the week while the whole staff will come in the gym and we'll start
I'd
doing
love it.
this. And because you don't have to go to class all the time, you learn and then incorporate it into your own routine at home.
Yes, I
Right?
always say to people, at home, you should have one thing that's hard,
Okay.
one thing that you love,
Mm-hmm.
and one thing in the middle.
Okay, good.
Because then you feel like you're making progress.
Right,
But this is
right.
not like another thing
I got-
on my to-do
yeah,
list.
yeah,
Right?
yeah.
And then you can see the progress.
Right.
And that's when you'll want to do more.
Boy, I love how you just said that, though. Another thing on my to-do list, as I've kind of been going on this journey of mine, sometimes I overwhelm myself because I'm learning all this stuff. Like, I got to do this, I got to do this, I get this gadget and that gadget. And I found out, wait a second, just slow down and just make one simple thing and make that your goal for the day. And find some wins throughout your day. I think that's the whole thought behind that. I think he's an admiral who wrote that book about make your bed. He's the make your bed in the morning guy. And start your day off with a win. Make your bed. So you can start your day off with something small that you can do and accomplish and feel, I did something.
And I always say that to people. It takes courage to try something new.
It does.
It takes courage to commit to
Yeah.
saying, I'm going to do my at-home yoga practice for 10 minutes.
Right? And commit and get out of your comfort zone.
100%.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm laughing because there's this one line I heard someone say, I'm not afraid of commitment. I just don't want to commit to something I can't get out of. Well, everybody, I hope you got a lot out of this. I say it every episode. I know I did. This has been phenomenal, Lynn. I can't thank you enough for coming here.
I can't thank you for opening up the conversation.
Oh, but this is absolutely wonderful. So Lynn's information will be on our website. It'll be in the description of the video as far as how to get a hold of her, where you can get in touch with her to maybe do some work with you.
And subscribe to more of your podcasts.
Yes, absolutely. Please, if you would, hit that subscribe button. Again, it helps us grow our audience. I really appreciate you joining us. We'll see you next time on Unprocessed Sugar. Hi, I'm Dr. David Sugar, a doctor here in Florida, and thank you for joining us on our podcast. A quick note, this is for educational and general information purposes only. Listening to this podcast does not constitute a doctor-patient relationship, and please consult with your own healthcare provider before making any changes to your own care. If you are having a medical emergency, please call 911 or your local emergency number. Any items, tests, medications that we talk about or discuss are for information purposes only and are not an endorsement. Once again, thank you for joining us, and please see the website for the full disclosure and waiver. Thank you very much.